Good afternoon, and welcome to the Cache Valley Report. A weekly presentation of what's happening in northern Utah. Featuring the people, the places, and events that make Cache Valley so unique. And now for this week's report, here's Darren Smith and Tina Horlicker. Julie Chipman has the weather, and Kevin White has sports.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Cache Valley Report. I'm Darren Smith.
And I'm Tina Horlicker. Julie Chipman will be here later with the weather, and Kevin White has sports. You're probably already noticed Old Man Winter has made a late visit to Cache Valley. Several storms have zipped through the valley, leaving behind more snow than we've had all winter. Last Monday's snowfall made traveling hazardous on all streets and roads. This scene, shot at 14th North and 12th East, was repeated in various locations. 4th North was blocked by several stalled vehicles, and travel through Sardine Canyon was closed Monday evening. Local street crews were hard-pressed to keep up with the snow, which fell almost constantly for 15 hours. Highways in and out of Cache Valley may still have some slick spots, and motorists are warned to exercise caution, especially when driving through shaded areas where ice may remain. Cold temperatures have moderated, but we may see more snow over the weekend. Julie Chipman will have a complete weather report for us later in the newscast.
And the snow has created great conditions for skiers, but backcountry travelers are also reminded that new snow may mean increased avalanche danger. 5 people were caught in an avalanche in Big Cottonwood Canyon near Salt Lake City Wednesday. All were rescued, but that was because they were skiers who had been flown by a helicopter, and they were accompanied by experienced guides. To check for avalanche danger, call the avalanche warning phone number before you leave and follow the rules of backcountry safety.
The 1990 legislative session is fast coming to a close, and there's still more work to be done. Final revenue projections for both the governor's office and the legislative analysis became available earlier this week, and the numbers don't look as good as lawmakers had hoped. The legislative subcommittees have passed spending requests totaling around $47 million, not counting education, but revenue projections show only about $6 million is actually available. On the other hand, Governor Norman Bangerter says there's enough money available to fund a 6% raise for teachers and other public employees. That's the amount he requested in his original budget. One bright spot in the budget battle, the governor's office and the legislative budget office are only about $1 million apart in their separate projections of revenue.
And teachers in Utah are voting today on whether or not to accept the state's salary and benefit package. That package will probably increase teachers' salaries by a total of 6 to 6.5%. Utah Education Association President Jim Campbell says that isn't enough. In schools all over Utah, UEA members are casting ballots which will decide if they will walk off their jobs next Tuesday. The final vote tally won't be in until Saturday, and Monday is a school holiday, so if a strike occurs, it will probably begin Tuesday.
It looks as if the city won't be able to build a new swimming pool near the Logan Recreation Center. Bob Tate, director of Logan City Parks and Recreation Department, reported to city council members that there's just not enough space available at the rec center site. The proposed wave pool will take up 3 to 5 acres, and that's more space than can be found near Logan High School and the rec center. Another problem is that Logan City District is planning expansion of the high school to alleviate overcrowding, and a wave pool would complicate that project. Now the City Council is considering a site near the Willow Park complex. The Willow Park area already has the zoo, the softball quadruplex, soccer fields, picnic areas, and playgrounds.
And in a related story, the Logan School Board gave approval to a planning contract with Design West for expansion of Logan High School. A design specifications committee included architects, teachers, administrators, and PTA and student body representatives will be begin meeting next week. Expansion of the high school is needed because of the growth in high school enrollment that's expected over the next several years.
In other action, the school board approved the 1990-1991 school calendar. School in Logan's public schools will begin on August 29th and end on June 5th. Board President Eugene Needham also suggested the board consider turning the old Whittier School, now the home of the Alliance for the Varied Arts, into an arts museum. The AVA will be moving out of the building once the Community Arts Center on Main Street is completed. We'll be back with more news after this message.
In the pocket. In the Logan Library is a vast garden full of flowers you can take home with you to help you discover the blossom inside yourself. Where else in the world can you find a place dedicated to helping you find the best you there is? Check out the Logan Library. They'll be happy to check out to you at 255 North Main, downtown Logan.
Seth Allen has announced he will run for the office of county executive. Incumbent Republican Bruce King has also said that he plans to run for a second term. Allen, who is also a Republican, says that he has served in government for 18 years and he'd like to continue. He says that the offices of executive would be an extension of his service. King has suggested combining some county offices, including the offices of clerk and county auditor. Allen is opposed to that combination. Allen is also opposed to combining other county offices as well. It will be up to the Cache County Republicans to determine who emerges as the party's candidate for the office of county executive.
Cache Valley teacher, actor, disc jockey, and personality Larry Cantwell is home. Cantwell was severely injured in an automobile accident on September 15th of last year. Stephanie Eames and Brian Earl visited with Cantwell and his family this week.
Larry Cantwell, a man of many talents, known by many as radio personality Phil Queasy for KVNU. He also taught speech and drama at Skyview High School, was involved in many local musical productions, portrayed Mark Twain city and statewide, starred in the Martin Harris pageant, and was the ever-popular Dr. Quackenbush at the Festival of the American West. Last September, Larry was involved in an automobile accident that left him paralyzed from the neck down. Larry's wife, Karen, explained the changes in their lifestyle.
There is an incredible difference. Every minute is either spent between him or Jenny, it seems like. He has a lot of needs, and being totally paralyzed from the neck down, you can't do anything except express, you know, how you feel and a little, you know, some of the problems.
Not only were there changes in lifestyle, but changes in the home had to be made as well.
First of all, to get him into the house, we put a ramp, a hydraulic lift, a hydraulic lift, not a ramp, from the garage into the house. And we had to knock a new door in to get him in there because we couldn't get in the way we had it arranged. So we put a new door and the hydraulic lift in there. And then we tore out a closet and made a doorway into the bedroom. And we tore out another closet and tiled it and made a shower out of that. It was just off of a bathroom. And so it's a big bathroom area that we can roll him in and shower and stuff that way. And that has worked out really well.
For Larry, the frustrations he has had to deal with have been very difficult. Besides losing his bodily functions and voice, Larry said a large part of his sense of humor has been lost also. Larry is not giving up despite his accident and is making plans for the future.
He's wanting to write children's books, and that's something that he could do with a computer program here at home, and he would love to do that. So we'll be working on that. In fact, he wants to write commercials and stuff for KVNU. So we're hoping to use all the time that his afternoons get really boring, really boring sometimes, and so it'll be fun to have something for him to do. He needs to use all those brain cells in there, those creative juices that have just been kind of stopped up.
Stephanie Eames and Brian Earl for the Cache Valley Report.
There's a man who's been an inspiration to me. The Larry Cantwell benefit is also scheduled for next Friday night at 8 in the Kent Concert Hall. Robert Peterson will also perform, and Bob Weldy and Paul James of KSL Television will be here. And local artist Pat Swayze, the Simmons Brothers, and the Rainbow Singers will also perform. Proceeds from the benefit will also go to help the Cantwell family with medical needs that aren't covered by the insurance.
More and more students enrolled in higher education are not fresh out of high school. Many have decided to go to college after years of being out of school, or they may be returning to college after a break of some kind. These re-entry students may find their return to education difficult. Most have families to care for. They may have full-time jobs as well. To help these students, Utah State has created a re-entry student center with the staff prepared to give advice and counsel. Here's Kirsten Moore at the USU Re-entry Student Center.
The purpose of the Reentry Center is to provide information and assistance concerning the opportunities and resources available on campus and in the community to non-traditional students, that is, women and men returning to school after a gap in their education. The center serves as an informal gathering place for reentry students, and it also facilitates their transition to university life. There are about 8 different services to help with the transition from parenthood and the workforce to student life. There are 2 workshops offered. One is called Is Going Back to School for You, which is designed to help adults who are in the process of deciding if they should go back to school.
So we spend an hour or so in a workshop called Is Going Back to School for You that allows them to sort of go through a decision-making process.